Hello and welcome to the last segment of Trading Card Game Shop Simulator. Um, After this, we will be taking a break to do our Spyro series that is paired along with a Schedule 1 series that I have been streaming and that has also wrapped up and has entered a break period. So that's something to look forward to. We're opening up packs, looking for some tea. $31 is. Oh, very welcome. I just got done watching the Bears lose the playoffs, so I'm here. Um, but it was a pretty fun game to watch. Pardon me while I open a soda. I must get. This must be sometime in this episode where I get a all ghost pack. So that's something that I know we get to look forward to. I think it happens here in this final video. $39. I of course will be uh reviewing my Xbox library. Those are some pretty cool cards. I do those. I'm gonna move on over here. Well, you guys, did any of you watch any of the playoffs? Any of your favorite teams going? Um, I don't have to brag in front of me, but from what I remember, kind of looks like Seahawks and Jaguars are in the semifinals, so that will be exciting. I'm personally rooting for the Jaguars if I remember seeing the bracket correctly. I could be dead wrong though. Opening up our last set for the morning packs. $11 is pretty nice. A grand total of 17 I can't argue with. And that's it. We'll open up, we'll have the short run, fill up our tables. I remember doing the Lego Batman game. I think that's kind of where I finished off. I also have Lego Marvel superheroes. That's kind of a stand. It doesn't follow any particular story to it. It's kind of a standalone story, and I really enjoyed the story. And I that's one that I did 100% complete, and I enjoyed doing that as well. I have Star Wars: The Complete Saga, not the Complete Skywalker Saga. So it is a little bit different. Um, I did not actually play that one through. In my Lego uh, playthrough, I kind of got bored by the time I got to that one. I had the Jurassic World one. That one I did 100%. I remember doing that 100%. Then I have the Avengers, and it was hard for me to get into that again. It kind of hit the point where I've done so many other Lego games, they weren't fun for me. I have Limbo, which I know I've beaten, um, but I've also more recently watched the Game Grumps play their playthrough of it, and it's a lot of fun. I have the Lollipop Chainsaw remake, which is I honestly think of all the different ways that zombies have been portrayed, Lollipop Chainsaw is the most fun for me. I really like it. I have a couple of Madden games in here. I kind of got out of the whole Madden thing because I kind of got out of the whole football thing, despite watching the playoffs today. Um, and that was mainly because I stopped having cable service, and so watching the games was kind of difficult. That was I work or would have worked most of the time. Most games I was at work and couldn't watch the game. So what was the point of being a football fan if you can't watch the games? That was me pointing out that I'll be getting my ACG cards back soon, so that's awesome. I have Mafia 2, which that game I remember playing and beating back. I think it was like a PlayStation 2 game, and I remember playing and beating it back then, but I haven't played it or beat it since. I have a bunch of like the different Magic the Gathering games, that the ones that eventually just went 2012, 2013, blah blah blah. Um, Again, I said this before, and I'll say it again now. Really enjoyed those. They were really fun. They kind of forced you to play the non-meta type game setups, and it was just fun in that sense. Um, Marvel Rivals, I've talked about that with my Steam games. I have Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think is a fun game. I did not complete it because I don't think it's fun. I have a really bad time about getting into new games, and I have to just give it my full commitment or nothing anymore. And I just wasn't able or willing to give it my full commitment. Same thing with the Midnight Suns. That was a game I was super excited for. I wasn't able to give it my full commitment, and I never finished it. Mass Effect. I think I touched on this before. I don't care for the game. Wasn't my Steve's. The Maw was a Xbox 360 arcade game. Um, I will talk about later, but it was made by the same people who made Explosion Man and Miss Explosion Man. Um, you were this alien, and you had another alien kind of attached to you, feeding him, and as he fed him, he got bigger and bigger and bigger. It's really fun. I really recommend it. I have Minecraft. For whatever reason, I have like Minecraft Preview, and Minecraft Xbox One Edition. I don't know why there's so many different versions on the Xbox. I don't think there's really, truly a difference between any of them. That's, that's all I have to say about Minecraft is Minecraft. At this point, if you don't know what Minecraft is, come out from beneath that rock of yours. Um, I like Minecraft. I used to play with a couple of friends of mine who had servers who had like custom rules in their servers, and I was doing my own thing, and then their server crashed, and I haven't been able to hit that love since then. I have in the past year or so um, done my main goal of making a pyramid from the top of the skybox down all the way to the bottom on a super flat world. And I used each layer with a different material, and then after a while, I just looped it because there's only so many different materials, but there's a lot of different layers to that pyramid. Um, that was a huge accomplishment. I've never been able to keep the focus that long. The one besides the one world where my friend had his custom server, I had got into where I hit the top and my pyramid was digging into the ground because it wasn't a super flat. It was a regular world, and my pyramid was digging into the ground, and that's how far along I was, and then his um server crashed, and I lost it. It really ruined the experience for me. I like making pixel art. I got as far as like Jigglypuff because I was doing Pokemon, the first one, sorry, in the National Pokedex. The ultimate goal of mine is to eventually make it to where I have, at the very least, the first 151 Pokemon, but ultimately all 1,000 of them. Um, the next game I have on here is Minion Masters. I have no clue what this game is. I don't remember downloading it. It must have been a game with gold thing. I don't remember anything about it. Same with Monaco. That must have also have been a game with gold thing that I just don't remember. I have. I'm trying to read this. What I did was take a picture of my UE with the list. Monday Night Combat. I remember there's another game I remember buying, and I remember playing it seldomly. And my memory is it wanted to be Team Fortress 2, but different. That's kind of how I remember that game. I could be remembering it wrong. Maybe that's someone's favorite game. I don't know. I don't remember much about it at this point. Um, I have Monopoly on here. That I enjoy playing Monopoly. I had a friend who I would play pretty consistently with at one point who decided to be an a hole, like just cut ties and make it seem like I was a bad guy, but then tell me what the hell was going on. I have Monster Hunter World on here, which is a game I got to play with that friend and his friend, and I just can't ever get into a Monster Hunter game. It's just not my grind, not my play loop. I have Mortal Kombat the remake, which was the sort of like the reboot of it, I should say. I like all the Mortal Kombat games except for the one coming next in this list. But every Mortal Kombat game I've ever played, I liked it. My favorite was the Deception. Uh, like I think it was like a 3 game trilogy where like those stories were very connected to each other. But my least favorite, which is Mortal Kombat versus the DC Universe, that game is hot garbage to its core. Do not care for it. Mortal Kombat Madness must have been one of those games of gold, but I do have some loose ties to the Mortal Kombat scene. I know some people do Supercross actually, and from what I understand, they are very good at it. Um, I have Miss Explosion Man, which is a sequel to Explosion Man, and much like Miss Pac-Man, Pac-Man, it's very similar but different. Um, I don't fully know how to describe Explosion Man. Besides, you are this guy who's on fire. You are like some kind of scientific, science. You were a mistake. Through science, and you basically can explode 3 times in the air without losing your cool or losing your heat. You have to land to get back, and it's a platformer. It's a side-scrolling platformer. I really enjoyed it. I don't think I ever beat it though. I have murdered. Um, was like it was. I didn't get far enough to truly understand what the story was, but you were a ghost and you could like possess people and solve crimes that way. I really liked the idea of it. I might try to get back into it at some point. I have MX versus ATV. Again, must have been a Games of Gold thing. I don't really think I ever played it. I have NBA Jam, the remake. Not nearly as good as the original, but still had its moments. I have Neverwinter Game, which was a MMO, kind of like World of Warcraft and EverQuest and stuff, but just not my steez. I have Knights, something made by the people who made Sonic. Didn't get into it, don't know much about it. I have Orcs Must Die, which I think I touched on with Steam, so I won't touch on it again. So Oregon Trail, which I touched on Steam, won't touch on it again. I have Overwatch 2, which I think should have never been made. I think they should just start to Overwatch 1. I understand that maybe some parts of Overwatch were dated, and if they wanted to expand, they would have to make the second one. I get that, but they should have kept two. They, that's just what they should have done. Is make Overwatch 2 just be Overwatch 1 with the capability of being more. I miss the loot boxes. I think they were fun. I think if we just took away the whole being able to buy them and you could only earn them, that should be the difference. And make them more accessible. Pac-Man Deluxe, which was a Xbox 360 arcade game. It was just Pac-Man, but had lots of different modes and stuff. And it was just very much of the Xbox 360 era. And if you were, that's one of those, if you know, you know. If you don't know, I don't know how to describe it. A lot of those games all had a very similar feel to them. like futuristic in weird ways. There was like an asteroid game that was like that. There was a Galaga game that was like that. There was a whole bunch of different games that were kind of all trying to bring old games but new to their thing. I have Paladins, which was like an Overwatch ripoff game. Path of Exile, which I think is kind of like a Diablo type game, but I never got into it. Peggle 1 and 2, which I touched on with Steam. I'm gonna open up packs. Let's see if we get anything cool. Oops. Always very hopeful for cool things. A lot of people here for it being 9 p.m. A good $16. Cool, $31 overall value. That's pretty cool. Sometimes it's not about just the cards that they stop on, it's the whole collection that makes it really worthwhile. All these packs worth over $10 is honestly me already getting my money back. I have the remake of the Perfect Dark game, which was a 64 game, GoldenEye vibe to it, but with aliens. The amount of time that my brother and I spent playing that game together, I think is unmatched to just about any other game that he and I ever played together. Um, One funny story I like to tell about that, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this because it's kind of embarrassing for him. But keep in mind, we were much younger at this point, but one of the levels had a floating box that you could push around, and he very quickly realized that you could put remote mines on this box. And then what he would like to do is use it as a trap or like push the box towards me and then detonate it when it is close enough to me to kill me. He was very good at it. But what he would say and what his coach's name was the IRS man. Um, which clearly made sense to his brain, and uh, my brain didn't know better. And he would say, "I am the Irishman. I bring death to the box." Looking back onto it, though, he didn't mean IRS. IRS doesn't make sense for that. He meant UPS because there was one who bring the packages. There's just something I was kind of think about every once in a while, and how much fun that was for us to play. Ooh, this isn't too bad. There was a reboot of the series, but it wasn't nearly as good. And then there was another one that was supposed to happen, but I think if I remember right, it ended up being canceled, which is unfortunate as it is. But it was such a wild ride. You were like the secret agent dealing with like Area 51 stuff and like corporate sabotage and espionage and all that fun stuff. But it very much had the feel of GoldenEye. A lot of people, when they think 64, they think GoldenEye. When I think 64, I think of Perfect Dark. I think, to me, that was the more fun game to play. And I would gladly die in that hell. Um, but yeah. And there was like a Perfect Dark Zero game. It just wasn't the same feel, man. I'm sure it's fun. I'm sure it had its moments. It just didn't do it for me. I don't have it on my list or anything. Surprisingly, actually, I thought I did. Um, I have Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 1 and 2, and they too were a team shooter, but they were fun, but they just didn't hit the mark. I have Portal 1 and 2. I touched on them with my Steam reviews. I have a game called Spark. I don't really know what that is. I don't know anything about it. Quiplash, which is a Jackbox game, which I won't get onto right now. Red, which is a roguelike, super 80s themed one. Um, I never beat it, I don't think, but I did play it a lot, but not to completion or anything. Just it's just one I played a lot. I think I would recommend it to other people. It's very simplistic in its themes. You get mutations and stuff. Um, it's fun. I like I said, I recommend it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's called Rad RAD. Rec Room. I think there's supposed to be like their version of the VR chat, but it just I don't know if I was late to the party or what it was, but I never got into it. Red Redemption 1 and 2. Could not recommend those enough. Um, Even though I never actually beat Red Dead Redemption 2, but I did play a lot of the online. Had a lot of fun doing it. Again, with the same friend who I've mentioned previously in this episode. Rock of Ages, which it's a silly game. You're a boulder going down a hill, destroying stuff. That's the game. It has weird art style, weird takes on things. It has like a skee ball mode. I think it even has a bowling mode. Um, that I never got into. A game called Rumble first. I don't remember anything about it. Don't think I actually played it. I think it might have been the game with gold theme. Saints Row the third. I never played any of the Saints Row games. I saw. In fact, I'm not even entirely sure why this is on the list, but it's here. Um, they were too close to being what I thought was a GTA ripoff, and if I was going to play GTA, I was just going to play GTA. Um, a game called Sea of Solitude, which deals a lot with very dark and depressing themes, but does a very tasteful approach to it. I do recommend Sea of Solitude a great deal to anyone who is looking to just. It's not a hard game. It's the only part that's hard is dealing with the topics that it talks about. But it's a puzzle platformer, really fun game overall. Sonic All Stars Racing, I touched on that with Steam. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and 3. Those are obviously from a more nostalgic base of mine. I played a lot of Sonic growing up. I had the Sega Genesis. My all-time favorite game, even to date, Well, honestly, it's Sonic Adventure 2, but comes in second is Sonic and 3 and Knuckles. Um, it's just a fun game. The Soul Calibur 2 remake. I got it, but I forgot that when Soul Calibur 2 came out, there were essentially three different versions. There was the Xbox, the PlayStation, and the GameCube version. And only the GameCube version had Link, and that was the one I was hoping I was going to play, but that's not the one I got. And so when I found out that I didn't get to play as Link, I just didn't care. But Soul Calibur 2 was fun back in the day. I played that a lot too. I think its unlock system was fun to play. Greatly enjoyed that. I have the two Star Wars games that I talked about in on the Steam reviews. Won't get into them again. Space Invaders, Infinity Endgame. It does a lot of what I was talking about with that Pac-Man game, where it makes these old retro games and tries to modernize them in weird, very of its time ways. Um, but I love Space Invaders, so it was a win for me. Split second is kind of like the Burnout franchise. Um, and when I say this, it's by no means an insult, but it's a Disney made it. But you would not have otherwise have been able to tell that this was a Disney game. You're racing. As you race, you get this like bar, and you can do little thing. You aren't. The whole premise is you're on a TV show, racing and stuff, and you can trigger certain stunts to happen. And these stunts could take out the racers ahead of you or behind you. You could fill it up 3 times and then do this big stunt thing that would completely change the level you were on. Um, I really could not suggest that enough to people. I think it was a huge sleeper game that not enough people played. Open up more packs, see what we get. I do also have Explosion Man on here, to no one's surprise who's been listening to me so far. Again, I've already talked about it, kind of covered it. Uh, Super fun game. It really is. I really enjoyed it. I have the Spyro trilogy as well. Um, I kind of already covered that with the Steam games. I cannot begin to explain the love I have for Spyro, though. Two $8 back to back. That's pretty cool. 31 bucks. This is a nice bowl. Nothing too exciting yet, at least. see that we're in the negatives again. That's a bummer to see, but obviously we'll get back out of it pretty easily. Whoo! Here we go. I think this is it. God pack. And I just got my greatest stuff in. That's all ghost tier. So super awesome. Super big turn of events there. That was the pack I've been waiting for. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I was looking at something. A game coming up that on a review, and I was thinking about what it was, but I couldn't remember it off the top of my head. But so I looked up on Steam, and it is in fact what I thought it was. I'm gonna go ahead and it's free. I'm gonna go ahead and get that game. I think it might be fun for Heather and I to play together. Sorry about that. Doing really well with these pulls. A lot of foils. I'm very happy to have a guy in that ghost pack though. That's awesome. Alright. I got a game called SSX, which I think I did end up actually getting this game, but I was hoping for certain feels. It's a snowboarding game, and back on the PlayStation there was a game called Cool Boarders. That was a snowboarding game that I played a lot of, and was a lot of fun. I think I was kind of hoping for that with this SSX game, but it didn't have the same feel for me, so it didn't hit as well as I was hoping it would. I have Stacking, which is a Double Fine. Oh, also I think Rad, if I remember right, was a Double Fine game, which is the company that does like Brutal Legend and Psychonauts and a whole bunch of other things. Really recommend any Double Fine game except for maybe Stacking. I remember playing Stacking, and I remember getting to a point where I just couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do. I tried looking it up even, and I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do, and it just kind of ruined the experience for me. um, I have Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy in here, which I talked about with Steam, as well as Fallen Order, and the newer Battlefront game. Um, which for me, people, including myself, just didn't hit that same button. I know it got better as um, people lodged their complaints against it, and they strove to improve upon it, but it just didn't have the same feel for me. So it was a huge miss. I have Steep on here, which is another one that I tried hitting a nostalgia button with. Um, I actually remember being very excited for Steep, but it just wasn't the same for me in the slightest. I um remember being very disappointed in the end of it. Stuntman Ignition. I think I played this game. I don't remember a whole lot about it. I don't remember if I liked it or not. Doesn't really stick out for me. The game that I looked up that just downloaded to maybe look into for Heather and I is uh, Super Animal Royale. Um, my memory of it is it's kind of like I don't know, like a worse Fall Guy type of thing, but not Fall Guys, but more competitive and super cute animal stuff. I remember enjoying it, but that's the most I remember. Super Bomberman R Online. I love Bomberman, and I think I liked this game, but it also didn't hit the same nostalgia button I was hoping to hit. There was just a certain itch I was going for, and it just didn't do it for me. Super Street Fighter 4. I was never really much of a Street Fighter fan, if I'm 100% honest. Um, Tales from the Borderlands, I talked about this with the Steam game. This game was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I could recommend it to other people. Um, yeah, like it's just a lot of fun. Talisman, I'm a huge Talisman fan. I own the Harry Potter edition physically, and then the newer version that just came out physically. And then I played this game a lot with that one friend. As previously mentioned in this episode, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan game. I don't remember this game. I, again, probably got it for some kind of nostalgia thing. Because I remember playing the Turtles Through Time game with my brother. I sucked at it, but he was good at it. But that's probably Tell Me Why, which I think is the whole universe of Life is Strange. Just a different part of that. Time Splitters 1 and 2. Um, I used to play Time Splitters 2 a lot with my brother, and then I used to play 3 a lot on the PlayStation 2. I really like them. Um, kind of the whole Golden Eye vibe to it, but you're going through time, and I really liked it, and I think their story was a lot of fun to go through. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands on here twice. I think one is like the Xbox One version, and one is the X and S version. Um, I don't think this game got enough love, but I kind of already covered it in Steam. I won't really cover it again here. Um, I have Titanfall. Just the first one. I couldn't really get into it, and I know this is what we owe thanks to for Apex Legends, and I really enjoy Apex Legends. I couldn't really get into the whole Titanfall game. That might be a hot topic there. I know a lot of people really like Titanfall. I just wasn't one. Torchlight, which I already got into. Toy Soldiers 1 and essentially 2. Interesting take on that story and everything. You really are toy soldiers doing real world war type stuff. Really interesting. Ugly Americans, which I think was like a Adult Swim thing. Um, I remember not hating this game, but I don't remember anything positive about it either. If that makes sense. Viva Pinata. I want to say I had a friend or a stepbrother who was into this. I had someone in my life who I want to say was considerably younger than me. He was super into the FIFA Pinata, and that's not the excuse why it's on my library. It's on there. I don't remember liking it myself though. I have The Walking Dead season 1 and 2. Which I'm pretty sure I touched on with um Steam. Won't get into it again. Warframe, which I think is a complete waste of time. The Witcher 2. I never actually got into it. Any of them. None of them. Um, A World of Keflings, which is a lot like the last Kefling game I talked about, just bigger and more disappointing. And that really ultimately is it for my Xbox library. Um, we still have some time to kill, so why not go ahead and get started on my Switch library? I've been playing a lot of my Switch lately, and enjoying it. I think even with the smartest way to look at my Switch library is to look through the virtual game cards. So I like a crossword game on here, a Knight's Quest. I'm just gonna just continue on. I'll say the name, but if I don't have really an opinion about it, I won't speak on it. Among Us. I think that game is only fun if you have a group of people to play with. If you're just playing by yourself, I don't think it's fun. I think I might sometimes suggest my kid plays a lot of it. Maybe I can sometimes sometimes suggest her and I play it together. I think it would also be fun if we could get my wife involved. Animal Crossing New Horizon. I played a lot of this in 2020 when it came out. A lot of it. I have not really gotten too much into it. In 2021, Heather and I we started new islands together. She basically got a glorified Animal Crossing player. She does other things on her Switch, but mainly just Animal Crossing. Is even that special Animal Crossing game version. Um, I keep thinking about getting back into it, but it's really hard for me to get back into that game. And it's not for lack of it being fun or anything, it's just hard. I have Animal Shelter, which I thought was the game that Dating in there and playing in Game Grumps, but if it is, then it's horrible. It's just buggy at all get out. Apex Legends, I've already talked about it. I think it's great. Arena of Valor, it must be a free game that I was just looking to fill my library with. Arms was like a debut Switch game. I think it's fun. Um, I think it's tiring if you play it the way you're supposed to, which is like to have the Joy Guns in your hand and you're actually trying to box people. I'm awful at it. Asphalt, which I think is a free driving game. Brawl, which I don't remember anything about. Brothers, which I think is made by the people who made It Takes Two, but I just I didn't have fun with it. Captain Toad's Adventure. I think this game's adorable. I love it. I love it very much. Carnival. Um, I was hoping for something better, and I got that. Is the summary there? Cell Damage, which was like a game on the PlayStation 2, GameCube, that era of games. Um, Not fun by yourself is the sum for that game. But it's kind of like Twisted Metal, but cartoons. Chips Challenge, that was a nostalgia buy. Used to play the crap out of this game on the um, Windows 95 computer that my grandpa and grandma had. Loved it. Classic Games Collection, it looks like it has a bunch of various games. I was more or less looking for games to be able to play offline. I was specifically looking for word searches and crosswords and stuff to do offline. And I think that was one I ended up getting for that reason. Clubhouse Games 51. Love this game. I still play. I play it sometimes by myself, and I'm just trying to calm down and relax for the day. I play it with my wife. I play it with my kid. It's a kind of a staple in the family. Colors Zen. I think it's a free game. It's a game that my wife kind of showed me, and I kind of got into it. It's a puzzle game. I that's about it. A color book game I got from my kid. Pretty straightforward of what that is. Cult of the Lamb is a stupidly fun roguelike game that did so many updates for. It's silly how fun this game is. Couldn't could not stress how much fun. And I think the Switch is the perfect console for roguelikes because it's so easy to just put down and come back later. Same with the next one. I don't remember if it has a longer name than what I'm just saying. Oh, Curse of the Dead Gods. Uh, Roguelike. You're going through, and as you're going through, you uh, every time you go through a door, you give a little bit of your soul. And the more of your soul you give, the more crazy you get. It gets harder as you get further in. Um, Combat's super involved. It's a lot like Hades. But just in my opinion, just darker in every way it could be, and I loved it for that. Um, I have Dark Souls on here. I think the specifically remake, but as I said before, as much as I try, I just can't get into any of the Souls games. Dauntless, I've talked about before. Um, Dawn of the Breakers, I don't remember. It must have been a free game. DC Universe Online is a MMO that didn't hit for me. Diablo 3 is a love game. I love Diablo 3. I've talked about it before. Disney classic games, Aladdin and The Lion King. Um, Huge nostalgic burst for that. I played both of those games a lot back on the Sega Genesis, so being able to play them again was fun. Dreamlight Valley is like an Animal Crossing game, but Disney. And I think they do a lot of things better than the Animal Crossing game, if I'm being 100% honest. I think the gameplay loop is a lot better. That's a lot more fun. That if I was going to get into a game like Animal Crossing, I would get into Dreamlight Valley first. Um, Disney Illusion Island is their version of a Metroidvania game. It has co-op. Um, I don't think it's ultimately a bad game, but I also ultimately don't think it's a fun game. I am also seeing that I'm getting opening packs, and that does generally mean that I'm going to wrap up the episode soon. So I do want to take this time to thank you guys yet again to listen to my rambles, um, and my hot takes. Like I said before, this is the last of this section. I do plan on coming back to it. Um, after after the series that is after Spyro will be paired with this game again. Um, uh, Again, I want to thank you guys for watching me. A quick reminder that I am on Twitch, where I stream every school day. I am Derpy Dove 89 on Twitch. I um, will probably be streaming most things going forward first, and then segmenting them into episodes to upload it to YouTube much later in the cycle. So what will be streamed now will be months from now on YouTube. So if you want to see it first and stuff, well, watch me on Derpy Dove weekdays that aren't that has school. Um, I do it um somewhere, if I'm being 100% honest, closer to noon to 2 o'clock on Monday and Friday, and 4 o'clock or 3:45 more accurately, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday nights I stream from 8:30 to midnight and have fun doing it. Right now I've been streaming Heavy Rain, which is the series that is going to be coming after the Spyro. That's a lot of fun. That's going to be the first game that I actually had to edit out some stuff because of certain nudities that are involved. So that's going to be fun for me to have to deal with. Um, but again, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my rambles. I will be doing some kind of voiceover for Spyro, I think. And then from Heavy Rain forward, stream first with live narration, and brought to YouTube at a much later date. So, like I said, I look forward to catching you there. That's where you can get the freshest content first. Um, Again, thank you so much for support and watching me and listening to me ramble. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll go ahead and do a couple quick more reviews. I have a couple minutes left. I have Dragon Builders 1 and 2. I played the second one before I played the first one. I don't know if that matters. I played the second one. I got so close to beating it, and then something happened. And when I tried getting back into it and trying to resume where I was so confused. I didn't know what I was doing. So I basically stopped. Every once in a while I try to get back into it, but it's just so hard for me to do that. I have Dream Daddy, but visual novels are boring for me. I try to be supportive because I do support the Game Grumps. I think they're hilarious, and their sense of humor is my sense of humor. Um, but some expansions. That's awesome. I have Fall Guys. I have Fallout Shelter, which I've talked about both of those previously. I'm pretty sure. Family Feud 2021. Kind of a clunky play of it, if I'm being 100% honest. I have Final Fantasy 8, which I've talked about, and 10 and 10-2, which I know I've talked about before. 10 being a favorite of mine. Gods Will Fall, which I think is like a roguelike game. I don't really remember too much about it, but I do kind of remember that you're more than one person going through this cave,
And if you die, you like lose that person and go forward. Hades is a love game. I love Hades to death. It is such a good game. I cannot gush on it enough. But with that in mind, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Have a great night. Again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and catch me at DerpyDove89 on Twitch Monday through Friday and every Friday night at 8:30 to midnight. And then sometimes sporadically throughout, like tonight, it's going to be a sporadic stream, unplanned, but I have the extra energy and then see why not. Again, thank you. Have a good night.